Jackson show yesterday, and then last night at NFL Honors, you debuted your pipes with Kelly.
I did. Well, I've debuted them at karaoke bars before, but first time in front of a general public. Yeah, that was a lot for me.
Oh. How did that work out?
You know, I didn't realize that me and Kelly Clarkson had the same pitch. It was wild.
Is that right?
It completely worked perfectly for me. No ifs, ands, or buts. It was a great time.
That's exactly what I was thinking as well, obviously.
You know what? That's your narrative. You sticking with it. Stick with that. Stick with that.
I had a good time. That's what matters.
I like that. Stick with that. Stick with that. Listen, man.
So in other words, you sounded terrible.
No, not terrible. I had a good time.
Yeah.
I think the whole thing was to be entertaining. And that's,
that's right. Listen,
it doesn't matter if you're tone deaf.
You ain't
enjoy yourself.
That's a nice way to say it.
You ain't losing, my brother. Let me ask you this question. I just want to say the same thing to you that I said to Debo the other day. My sympathies. I was so sad for y'all because I like competition and I want a thriller. I want two teams at their best going at it. And I've never in my life seen, watching an NFL team, I've never seen a team lose 4 quarterbacks in the same season.
Yeah.
I've never seen it. But that is what happened to y'all. As you sit here and reflect on the season that y'all had, knowing how elite your team was, put into perspective for all of us what it was like to be in that NFC Championship game once you knew y'all couldn't even throw the damn football because you didn't have a quarterback.
At the end of the day, it's absolutely brutal. You go to work for 11 months out of the year. You have coaches who are there 18 hours a day, putting in game plans, sleeping on couches. Players there 12 hours a day, putting their body through it, getting extra rehab, not being with their families, going away from their families week in, week out. The grind of being critiqued not just by your peers and coaches, but by the entire media and all the internet. Now that they release coaches' copies, people just throwing things at you on social media. So you're just in this grind for 8 months. And to get to where you're trying to get, you're 1 game away from the Super Bowl, which is all the Niners organization wants to do is win another Super Bowl. And the Regs just pulled out from underneath you, and there's just nothing you could do at 13 and a half minutes left in the second half. So it's just kind of like, well then, what do you do, right?
And for us, before you ask the question, for us sitting there, we just looked at y'all, and what we saw was a team that just knew, damn. You know, there's nothing we can do.
Our heart was broken for you guys. We knew it wasn't going to be a game.
It was like, it wasn't going to be, you were like,
fourth stringer.
What can you do? It was like, listen, after Josh Johnson, even after that, it's like you just looked at y'all and it just seemed to like engulf y'all, like you just sat back and like, this is a damn shame. We can't even play.
I mean, we had a game plan we wanted to run. We ended up running about like 6 total plays in the second half, from gap scheme to a couple outside zones. You know, Christian threw it once, but like, you can't win. It's not high school. You can just throw in the most athletic guy, and he's going to run around and like beat people up. It's not like that. You're in the NFL. You're in the NFC Championship game. 2 fantastic football teams, right? And there's not really there's nothing you can do. You're going to put Christian McCaffrey back there. Like you want to put Jawan Jennings back there, who played quarterback in high school. It's not high school. It's the NFL.
Right.
Like, come on. Let's be real. Like, we're down 28-7 with only being able to run the ball. Pretty tough at that point.
Yeah, I ain't going. I'm not going to go as far as to say my heart was broken. I felt bad for y'all.
No, it was.
My heart was broken. Nah, man. Let me ask you this though, Kip. You guys are obviously a team that's on the brink, always on the brink, always in the conversation at the end of the year. What is it like in the off season, right? 2 NFC championships back to back. Like, what are those conversations like about how do we get over it, man? Like, how do we finally snap into a Super Bowl and get that thing done? Is that a conversation? Is it just as simple as showing up back to work? Is it something you guys think that you need to change or make better? Now, obviously, I know the injuries came in and the quarterback situation has always been a question in San Francisco. What guy is it? We had Brock Purdy being a Hall of Famer after 6 games because he didn't throw any interceptions. You guys built a great rapport. How do you restart again as a leader of that team when you talking to these guys going into another grind of an offseason?
I mean, I think really at the end of the day, we have a fantastic roster. We're bringing back almost all of our skill positions on offense. We definitely got the ball rolling. We won 12 games in a row. We have a very talented roster. We still have a very good head coach who can scheme anybody. We have a fantastic defense still. We still have Nick Bosa. We still have Fred Warner. We have all these guys. We have all these pieces. It's more just we're going to come back to work. We're going to work if not the same, a little bit harder.
Yeah.
But like, we don't have to change too much. The ball just didn't bounce our way. I'm not going to say like we didn't. Yes, we were up 10 points in the NFC Championship game last year. I mean, they scored the next possession. It was really like a 3-point game. We didn't finish that one, but it's just like we just have to finish a couple plays here and there, and we'll be right there where we want to be. It's not like this huge thing where they can blow everything up.
Yeah.
Like,
I can tell you what needs to change. You just need a healthy quarterback.
You know, I've had 3 quarterbacks in 4 of my 6 seasons as an NFL player.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
No.
Yeah,
Can
let's
we talk
Yeah.
about that though? Because
give me
your
one.
coach said, and I know you're friends with Jimmy G. He doesn't envision a scenario where Jimmy G's back. I heard that you said you think it's Brock Purdy's job to lose. Like, how do you see this playing out, and how frustrating is it? Like what you're saying, to have that turnover.
The turnover is frustrating because all you really want to do is build rapport with your guy. Like, you look. And I'm mildly jealous. Like, I'm not jealous of the talent. Like, yeah, Patrick Mahomes is amazing. Kelsey's got to play with them. Hurts. You have these quarterbacks just healthy. And, like, I love every quarterback that I've played with, from C.J. Beathard, Nick Mullins, Jimmy Garoppolo. Like, I've had success with all of them. They're all great. I would just like 16 games with them. Like, just give me a shot just to build that up and, have fun with it. What's going to happen as a fan looking on the outside? Hey, Brock Purdy, I don't know. He didn't really lose the game. He got hurt play 5 or play 6. Yeah. Hasn't lost. And again, Trey Lance has not gotten a fair shot at all. I mean, he's played in like 3 games. He got hurt. First game he started this season was like monsoon, and like it wasn't really a game. So I think it's a healthy competition. If you're going to name one guy right now, like Brock hasn't lost it. It's just hard to move on from.
I got to say this to you, though.
Bring it.
I'm kind of worried for you next year in this regard.
Yes.
Jimmy G is gone.
For sure.
And obviously, because he's going to be a starting quarterback somewhere else. He deserved that opportunity. He's won games. Let's give him respect where it's due. Trey Lance and Brock Purdy both are hurt.
Currently hurt.
What I mean is that they're coming back next year off of injuries, and the 2 guys that you know you're going to have are both coming off injuries. You don't know whether or not they'll be 100%.
For sure.
Doesn't that worry you?
Oh, man. It's football, baby. It is what it is.
Okay.
Hey, I'll tell you this.
Okay.
Jimmy G didn't have an entire offseason last year. Didn't do OTAs. Didn't do a single snap of training camp. Came in, week 2 and played at a high and it took him a couple of games to get warmed up before he looked good again. But he played at a high level for us, gave us a chance to win all those games, got us on a winning streak. So, and Brock Purdy, he's a gamer. He started 48 games. Like, he knows how to play football. It's not going to, he's not going to have to figure it all out again. He'll be all right. And Trey Lance, I think he's out of his boot. He's walking around. He'll be available for OTA, so he's going to get a bunch of reps in. He's going to get all these reps in that he needs to get, and that's how he's going to become a better quarterback. So hopefully by the time we get to training camp, we have 2 guys that are competing, both healthy and ready to roll.
I got to tell you, you're the only team in NFL history that I know. If it were me, I'd have 5 quarterbacks on the roster. After what I just went through, I'd have 5 quarterbacks on the damn roster just in case. I get some old veterans.
Hey, Mr. Goodell, can we have quarterbacks on the roster, please?
I'd have 5 damn quarterbacks. Do whatever I got to do.
Exactly what you thought you were going to do with Carson Wentz, and we see they had to rebuild from that.
Why wouldn't they be the team to beat in the NFC when you look at the state of the conference going forward?
The 49ers would have to get a freakazoid at quarterback. That's the only thing right now that's holding it up. Now, there are question marks with the Eagles, like how much money are you going to pay Jalen Hurts? That's going to be a part of this conversation because they've gone to the Super Bowl twice in 6 seasons on rookie quarterback deals, and it sounds like they're going to pay him as they should. How much are they going to use him as a runner going forward? He has the shoulder injury. It almost derailed their season. It might impact the Super Bowl because he still doesn't look healthy. How long do guys like Jason Kelsey and Lane Johnson play? But it would be a disappointment if they don't become one. Guys, this is a team that has the best offensive line in football. They have the best offensive line coach in football. They have become notorious for developing quarterbacks and offensive line. They got A.J. Brown, who's still a stud young player. Devontae Smith, stud young player. Dallas Goedert, stud young player. They're young at certain parts on the defensive side of the football. They have 2 first-round picks and a general manager that remade their roster in 2 years.
Aaron Rodgers won Super Bowl. Peyton Manning won Super Bowl where he was actually the dude and didn't win the last one until he was about to leave because of the different
Peyton Manning had to deal with Tom Brady.
It's a dependent position, Ryan.
So
no, but the NFC piece of this is a big part of the conversation because all of the superstars, the murderers row of young quarterbacks are all in the AFC.
But things change so quickly. I mean, we do this every year with the Super Bowl teams. Can it become a dynasty? The only one that's done it in recent memory is the Chiefs, who are playing against the Eagles this week. So, yeah, it's hard to say. Everything we've learned about Jalen Hurts since he was in college convinces us he can continue to ascend and to be even a better player than he is now, which is wonderful. But their roster's got some age on it. They're a little tight against the salary cap. They have some challenges.
So if I changed the question a little and I said 1 year from, I forget where the Super Bowl is a year from now, but
Vegas, Las Vegas.
When we are all sitting here 52 Fridays from now, and I'm telling you one of these 2 teams is going to be back, the Eagles or the Chiefs, which one would you tell me it's going to be?
The Chiefs.
Because of Mahomes.
Yeah.
So I mean that would mean they're likelier because of the quarterback than the Eagles to have a dynasty.
All those rookies that are playing, I mean, the Chiefs are like getting contributions from young players at a higher level than you think.
Show me the dynasty after you pay your guy.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes.
I like that.
And the Chiefs are closer to being the dynasty. And when I say dynasty, actually winning championships, Show me that information after you pay your guy. Like the Eagles are in glory land right now, and they're actually ahead of schedule. Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie did a phenomenal job of putting the roster together. Jalen Hurts was more than anybody thought that he would be, right? So, yes, in this window right now, as we sit here and they about to play for a Super Bowl Sunday, it's a very convenient conversation. But we've seen what happens after you give the $250 million. We've seen what happens when you have to make certain roster decisions. Right now, they got a $100 million quarterback. They got an offensive line that you would love to have all back. But you don't think the other 31 teams are going to want some of those guys. So it's a lot of things that have to transpire in order for that to happen. The fact that Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs